At this tempting ball, I met him, a mysterious man who made my heart race. His eyes were deep, his smile sly, and his presence irresistible. But just as I was lost in this unexpected encounter, a scream shattered the peace capture her. Me, a wanderer banned from the ball, became the target of everyone's arrows. Chapter 1. Idiots. They're all idiot. A laugh escapes my lips and curl into a cunning smile simultaneously. I look around before entering the gates of the spectacular mansion that held the party I came for. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Milbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I'd like to add, that commenced without my wonderful presence. How considerate. I adjust my hood before I enter the gaping doors of the residence and find my way to the ballroom. People chattered and danced. The vast space was filled with smiles and laughter. I cringed. A room full of masses of werewolves, senses definitely unpleasant. I scrunched my nose. How the hell do you find your mates in this place? Every year. The council, I apologize. I mean the council hosts a gathering. Werewolves 16 and above were expected to participate. Its purpose is to unite unmated wolves and, most importantly, the alphas. And like predicted, newly made stock. Fall in love. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Milbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Mark each other. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Milbert, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. All werewolves of all ranks, alphas, betas, even gays, blah blah blah, are invited. If I was to describe the mating ball, I'd say it was rather mandatory. But that didn't really matter because almost every wolf are willing to attend in hopes of meeting their other half. Except the Royal Crimson Pack. They are powerful, commanding, and influential. And for this, they were above the council. No, they did not abuse their power, nor did they randomly annihilate packs. But once agitated, they will spare no mercy and tear you apart slowly, making sure you suffer the worst death penalty anyone could ever experience. Or so I've heard. No one who dare challenge the Royal Crimson Pack can escape. Like they say, you can run, but you can't hide. But that didn't matter to me, did it? As if I'd ever get tangled in their matters. What mattered to me right now were the rumors. During the 3 years I've participated in this event, I've collected enough information to know that the Royal Crimson Pack were breathtaking in a sense. Both men and women babbled on how ravishing they looked and how charismatic they were. It made my curiosity rise. And as if the moon goddess heard us oh so unfortunate peasants, word of new company spread. Apparently, the Crimson Pack will be attending this year's mating ball. Fucking fine. I needed something to feed my boredom. I sauntered around the room while trying to avoid a form of contact. No offense, but the people here are dull. Uneventful. In other words, not fun. Interaction is a waste of time. Craving some dessert, I walked to the food area, grabbing a plate and for many slices of cake. I almost drooled merely at the sight of it. It looked so good. I haven't eaten something expensive in a while and I was going to make the best out of it. Raising the fork to my mouth, I take notice of the gossips that charge the room. Did you see them? I've never felt so. I don't know how to define it. But my heart feels like it's going to blow up. One beams, her cheeks extremely flushed. I take a bite of the cake. It was delicious. Another tunes in. How could anyone be so perfect? How lucky could Theo's mate be? She must have done something notable in their past life. I raise a brow. I feel like I fell down from heaven. Some guy's eyes. His expression lost. Another chimes in. Imagine what a great fuck, th. I couldn't help the snort that escapes the ladylike facade I was digging for. After finishing my plate, I pat my mouth clean with the tissue just like the elegant lady I truly am. I fix my composure, readjust the hood of my black, colored cape, and caress the dress that I recently stole from some girl. I'm glad the fabric was comfy. However, I just wish that it was red to look rather intimidating. In the contrary, the white dress made me look like some saint. I strolled to the direction the people were leaving from. My interest piqued. There was a visible crowd around 5 young men and women. I was more thrilled than ever. Vigor runs through my vein and it made me feel enthusiastic. It was the Royal Crimson Pack. Most of the people stole glances, trying so hard to not make it obvious as if their attendance didn't make them engrossed in the slightest. It was a disaster. It was visible that they were an audience judging the performers like they were a piece of art. And I admit that I was part of that audience. They were a very fine art. With one look, I felt the power all 5 of them exuded. My brain buzzed with curiosity and I couldn't help but feel even more and more fascinated. One of them, a guy with olive skin, curly hair, and beautiful honey brown eyes, sported a bored face. Truthfully, I didn't blame him at all. The party could be more lively. The guy reminded me of someone who could have played the jock in a romantic teenage movie. He just had that bad boy vibes around him. His muscular arms were wrapped around another's waist. I noticed. He looks at her and gives her a loving expression. I couldn't resist the small smile creeping on my face. They were a beautiful couple and I couldn't ever deny that. The girl lays her head on his shoulder. Her curled, blonde hair cascading in gorgeous waves. Ocean blue eyes graced her pale skin. She looks exactly like an angel and had that girl next door feel around her. My eyes traveled to the person to her right, who owned the same exact features. Twins. The boy had straight blonde hair that reaches his ear and the same ocean blue eyes. In contrast though, he looks like an annoying little devil, a jokester or the life of the party. A troublemaker, you could say. Look who's talking. It wasn't like I was any different. His lips were downcast and his eyes were frantic. After a while, I concluded that he was trying to calm down his mate, which wasn't working very well. The girl had fair skin with a bright glow. Her dark hair was tied up in a high ponytail. Her bangs swept to the side. She looked gentle except for the fact that her brows were furrowed and her expression displeased as she glared at her mate. He stuck his tongue out. What an odd couple. Next to them was another man and I would be lying if I said I wasn't drawn to him more than the rest. He somehow felt more intimidating, more fascinating, more spellbinding. The gorgeous young man held a devious gaze in his beautiful grey eyes and his lips were curved in a mischievous smile. He wears a gaze that made me feel like he treated this event like a game and we were the chess pieces. His face structure was magnificent, as if carved by the moon goddess herself. I couldn't decide whether I wanted to be his or to be him himself. Why couldn't she make me this pretty? Something about him drew me in and it was irresistible. It pulled at me and was convincing me to get closer. He was the most alluring man I've ever met and he captured my interest. Something stirred inside me, and I was craving to see him. The need to do anything that involves him consumes me from inside and out. I don't know how long I continued to observe him, and for a fact, I didn't really care. Then, those captivating grey orbs met mine. Holy motherfucking shit. I wanted to capture this moment and never let it go. My heart rate picks up, beating erratically. My surroundings seemed to fade out and all I could focus on was the handsome young man. My heart felt like it was going to burst out of my chest any second now. An unfamiliar and unexpected thought intrudes my mind. I tilt my head, scrutinizing him. He did the same. A frown tugs on my lips. He did the same. We were both studying each other, processing the unforeseen notion as we do so. Copycat, I breathed out. The idea had dug itself well into my mind, but it still felt unbelievable. A smile reaches his face and his eyes twinkle with curiosity. His stares bore into me as he eyes me up and down, pride swelling in his chest. He opens his mouth to speak. Pleased to meet you. Meet Emma. His voice was deep and husky, making my brain feel chaotic and out of control. My heart thrums with ardor and enthusiasm. I shudder unconsciously. The corners of my lips tug upwards and I grin. How interesting. It's a pleasure to meet you. Too, mate. I respond, my words slow and precise. We didn't break eye contact. Not at all. And then there was a yell. Capture her. The crowd parted. Guards run towards my direction. looking back at my mate one last time. I captured his beauty and saluted him. I didn't miss the amused look on his face. Did I forget to mention rogues were prohibited from the mating ball? Her hopes. Chapter 2. I don't like how his hair looks. Should I just kill him? I twist and flick the dagger in my hand, realizing that about 20 wolves surrounded me. They all looked equally pissed. Oh man. It's just me. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Normal me. Same beautiful girl. Remember. No response. Taking a steady step back. I continue. Come on, y'all. This is the 4th year we've been buddies. Or are we not in good terms? How about we go get some drinks? My treat. J. Eric. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Gives me an unamused growl and takes a few steps forward. It's you again. You annoying piece of shit. Damn. That kinda hurts. I frown and let out a small. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. This time, I'll catch you. And when I do, I'll make sure you'll live a long, long, long time in agony. J. Eric avowed. His eyes flashed with joy and newfound interest. You are so fucking irritating. Do you not know? You infuriate me. I gulp, but flash him a nervous smile. Well, someone's mad. You know, enthusiasm, in this situation, you'd expect that the main lead would charge, secure victory, and maybe earn some scratches or even a blow to the head. Then, some Prince Charming will save his lovely damsel in distress and even release some tears of sadness. Boo-hoo. Sadly, I'm not so brave and talented. But you know what I was good at? Running. So I did. But not before I throw the dagger at J. Eric, aiming at his leg to make sure I don't assassinate anyone. Believe it or not, I consider him my close friend despite our mishaps. Hit and run. Baby. I flip him off and sprint out before the others could react. The same routine continues for 10 minutes until a familiar tree enters my vision. Gasping for air, I felt for my bow and quiver, holding it to my cheek and cooing it. My little baby. I continue to run. This sure is fun. My compelling mate infiltrates my mind and annoyed even me. I was irritated by myself for getting so obsessed for someone I barely met. His dark hair, vibrant grey eyes, that chiseled jaw, and oh my, those full, sultry lips that made even me jealous. How could I be so lucky? The simple act of thinking about him made my heart beat erratically. I imagine how his hugs would feel and how his hair would feel in between my fingers. Then, a familiar ugly voice disrupts me from my train of thoughts. She's there. Just capture her. I crane my neck to look back. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilben. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. In the void space was J. Eric. Inking. Dried blood clung to his old and withering skin. I halt my steps to laugh because I just couldn't help it. He gives me a deadly glare and the other warriors stood next to him. Puzzled. That made me laugh more. I laughed so much to the point I couldn't breathe. Doubling over, I clutch my stomach and take in big gasps of air. Noticing the lack of response and unamused growls, I clear my throat and regain my composure. J. Eric snarls. Are you finished? You filthy rogue. His posse of warriors and Eric himself take big steps towards me, enclosing the space that previously separated us. I feign a pained expression. Can't you be a little kinder? J. Eric. Placing a hand on my heart. I thought you were smart. He replies and keeps on dragging. I took this chance and search around, realizing that I did not have the leverage in this situation. You should know by now that kindness doesn't ever apply to you. And clearly, shutting up doesn't exist in a dictionary. I snap. I considered it attacking, but I had no close-ranged weapon on my hand. I guess I'll have to do another hit and run. He walks towards me, says the one who wouldn't shut up about being companions. Mocking me, he adds, how about we go get some drinks? My treat. His face was so close to mine that I could smell his horrid breath. I kept my breath in and tried to not breathe in his scent. It was enough to kill me, for God's sake. I give him the most intense glare I could muster. He imitates a giggle and continues. But don't you think a cape's a little outdated? A scowl threatens to occupy my face and I proudly put it on full display. Fucker. No one insults my cape. J. Eric only smirks, which swelled my temper. You know what would look nice on you? You in the cellars. Wrapped in chains while you get whipped and choked to death. Yeah, I bet you 20 your wife enjoyed that. His smirk drops, much to my content. His eyes fill up with anger. Do not ever talk about her like that or I'll tear you to pieces. You mutt. Once I capture you and leave you in the Gamma's hands, you better pray you won't receive such a cruel punishment. Oh, don't worry, J. Eric. I assure you nothing that bad could happen judging from your wife's account. He lunges towards me, aiming for my neck. I dodge it and head to the direction I previously planned to run towards. I'm not dumb. I know what I'm capable of and what I'm incapable of. This is how you survive. And like usual, running is my top one solution to the key to surviving by me. I sprinted out. A sigh of relief escapes past my lips. Too bad for me. The relief didn't last any longer. My ears perk. A high whoosh rips through the silence of the air. I clutch the arrow and squeeze it tightly in my palms as it zooms past my ear. I look back and shout, "Whoever shot that? Your aim sucks." I grin, enjoying the lack of boredom. Now this, my people, is what fun is. I twist my head to look forward again. I notice the figure that stood idly in front of me to lighten step as soon as I realized, hoping for the best. A scent enters my nostrils, leaving me entranced. It smelt like nature, an earthy smell like after rain accompanied with lavenders. A wave of calmness washes over me almost immediately and my muscles seem to release its tension. The figure grabs me by the wrists and pulls me towards them. Pleasurable sparks surface on my skin and I couldn't control the guts that comes out of me. Mate. I raised my head to confirm and was met by the same captivating gaze that I was already starting to love. My breathing hitches and my heart rate speeds up. I open my mouth to say something but he beats me to it. He moves his grey eyes away from me and travels behind me, his steely gaze eyeing them in a threatening manner. You can leave. I'll be taking care of her from this point on. He commands them in a firm manner. I twist my head to the side and catch a glimpse of J. Eric and his cronies bowing their head in submission before scrambling to escape. Oh, I forgot they existed. My captor, I mean mate, lets go of my wrist and wraps an arm around my waist, pulling me closer. A shiver travels all over my body. Whoa. I breath out. His gorgeous grey obs lock with my dark brown ones and a tiny smile appears on his face. His eyes swirl with an intention that I couldn't comprehend. This is interesting, he mutters to himself. That's my line. Last time I checked, your name wasn't on it. Sucks. I retort, because last time I checked, you don't even know my name. Clearly amused. Touch. Mind telling me your name? My love. My heart did a backflip. Before replying, I adjust my hood. A habit of mine. Alexandria. I say under my breath. Alexandria. He repeats with his sultry, sedating voice. Werewolves didn't lie when they insisted that the mate bond was strong. It took all the energy in me to not wrap my arms around him and hug the shit out of him even though I just met him. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobel, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing Kishut's enthusiasm. In some way, the mate bond had me frightened. I've barely met him yet the simple act of my mate calling my name sent shivers down my spine. He made me feel emotions I really felt. I couldn't help but think what we would be like in years. That is if we do decide to keep each other. I cock my head to the side, urging him to answer me, when he didn't get the message. Your name. Call me Theo. 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 I opened my mouth to reply but was disrupted by another voice. Theo. A guy's voice shouts from behind the trees. Soon, the individuals come to light. It was the same companions that came with him to the ball. I also noted that their expressions were filled with irritation, and I had a feeling it had something to do with me. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobel, heartfelt thanks for your unfading patience, enthusiasm. Someone's getting in trouble. I snicker at the thought. Theo's eye snaps to me, his lips still curved into a smirk. What's so funny? Alexandria. Nothing, I say in an attempt to suppress my short outbreak. His friends glanced at him. Then to me. They remained silent and indifferent for what seemed like forever. I shift my weight from one foot to another, not liking the stares that landed on me repeatedly. Suddenly, the guy with curly hair and brown eyes takes a step forward. An expression of pure disgust overcomes all emotion on his face. It made me want to punch him in the face. Suddenly, he wasn't so attractive anymore. Who is she? Should I be offended? Theo grins and replies, she's my mate, Giovanni. I raise a brow, perplexed at how he was amused by his friend's reaction. The guy, Giovanni, runs a hand through his hair, as if he just heard the most stressful thing ever. I scoff in disbelief. He turns to his mate, who rubs his arm in circles in an attempt to pacify him. Then, I notice their eyes turn a brighter color. I suppress a groan when the realization dawns me. I turn to Theo for confirmation. Two were a vivid grey. Great. They're talking shit about me behind my back. Pussies. I cross my arms, annoyed at the waiting. 5 decades, 6 years, and 15 weeks later, their private little discussion finally ceased. The Asian girl with the ponytail was the first to speak. She's a rogue. Theo, it's nice meeting you two. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobel, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Giovanni's mate, one of the twins, wore a worrisome expression. She looks at me as if I was pitiful, and it almost made me double over in laughter. Me pitiful? Never. Her brows furrow as she comments. I agree with Gio and Scarlett. It happened once. We can't let it happen again. Let's not take the risk. Please. Well, fuck you too. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobel, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Theo doesn't say anything and just stares at them. I could tell how he pretended to think, but his decision was already made and nothing else could change it. Meanwhile, the woman's twin sports a dumb smile on his face. The turmoil between his pack entertained him, and I agreed with him. Seriously, he snorted. Is the beta and my dear Celestina scaredy cats? Attaboy. Giovanni glares at him. What about Scarlett? Emilio. She's on my side. Too moron. Do know very well that I'll be dead as meat if I ever talk smack about my mate, he retorts. Emilio's mate grabs him by the shoulders and strikes a blow to his head. K.O. He starts to cuff the sleeves of his dress shirt as if instigating a fight. Celestina shouts at them to stop like it wasn't the first time it happened. The amusing couple immediately stop arguing and fix their stature. Celestina gazes at Theo for a hot second, and as if noticing my long-lasting silence. Is she not going to talk at all? Now that she said that, it made me not want to talk more. Oh please, we don't need cowards in the pack. For Christ's sake. I kiss my middle finger at her and flash it at her. She frowns in response. Taken aback, her mate naturally releases a low growl. Despising the disrespect she was given, I'm really not liking her. Theo, making sure to emphasize every single word. Thanks, Captain Obvious. I flip him off with my other hand and couldn't help but smirk under my hood. I glance at Theo. His arms were crossed as he stares back at his friends with a smug expression. J. Bicotto. He looks at me. Because I'm liking her. Well, duh, I'm your mate is what I wanted to say. However, I didn't want to waste my precious energy on talking. It is merely a weapon that comes in handy when escaping, or even better, to irritate the shit out of someone. I copied Theo's actions by crossing my arms and lifting my chin up as if I was mocking them. They gaped at us in disbelief, refusing to believe that they'd have to tolerate me. I was troubled, and so was he. Carrying us up was a risk the moon goddess took. But the world needs a taste of some of its own chaos every once in a while. Chaos is a good thing. It is fundamental. Chapter 3. The yearly mating ball had ended. Groups of friends and new mates gradually left the doors of the mansion. Only the elegant decorations and leftover trash remained to be undone by the workers the day after. I watched as the last warriors who guarded the event closed the gates of the mansion. Now, the only werewolves that lingered were 5 Greek gods and I, the most beautiful of all. I'm bringing you with me, Theo commands firmly despite the tension that surrounds us. He either lacks the ability to perceive his surroundings or he simply doesn't give a fucking shit. Okay, I answer shortly, not really knowing what else to say. A part of me still didn't process what was really going on. It just felt too unreal. Still, it was time to put a stop on stealing, running, and decapitating werewolves, temporarily. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I ignore the other part of me that parted my mind and told me I had other reasons for accepting so easily. Pulling me out of my thoughts, I hear the guy named Giovanni suppress a humorless laugh. It was a laugh that was making my mind go haywire as I stopped myself from murdering this son of a bitch. Let's not rush and be improper. My friends, we shall ask permission from her Elfa on her behalf. He eyes me. Oh wait, you don't have a pack. The blondie laughs and pats Giovanni on the back. And I thought he was on my side. What a traitor. These people were not only annoying, but the fact that I was the one getting irritated and not them woke up a fire inside of me. Gunny, I'm the only one allowed to bitch around. I'd tell you to shut up or I'll cut off your dick, but I speak. My eyes travel up and down his body mockingly, just like he did. You don't have one. The blondie lets out an ugly chortle and in return, his sister sends him a harsh glare. As if on cue, a strong wind passes by, causing my hood to fall off. Scarlet, the blondie's mate, takes a step or two forward. I suggest you stop talking. Rogue, she says with slight disgust. You're crossing the line. Sorry to inform you, but I don't do boundaries. I wink. She sends me a sneer and paces toward me, but instantly stops when her mate grabs by the waist and pulls her towards him. Her body immediately relaxes under his hold. Well, will you look at that? Turmoil is a beautiful thing. I could smell the tension in the air. It was picking at us, forcing not only me, but also them, to fight. Clearly, my presence seems to undermine their authority and they were thirsting for dominance. They obviously weren't very fond of me and they would gladly resort to violence. Like expected, curly hair guy charges towards me. The space between us gave me enough time to react. I grin as I quickly position myself and lift the bow to the air, ready to shoot before he could close the large distance between us. I haven't launched an arrow for a while. My hands have been clean of blood for far too long. Got a new arrow too, sparkly and tipped in silver. Giovanni would be a great trial testing. I wonder how cute he'd look like with blood dripping from his eye. What a masterpiece. This idea delighted me and I was pretty sure I had an ugly, creepy smile on my face. I grasp the bowstring, draw it, and release, aiming for his eye. Maybe he'd look even hotter with this new trend. He realizes this too late and tries to crouch. I grin even wider, considering the mission done, before it reaches him. However, I find my mate in the center of my eyesight, arrow in between his palms. He lets out a shaky breath before snapping it in half, dropping it to the ground. His eyes were furrowed and for the first time, he showed a sign of irritation. How lovely. Fuck you. That was brand new. Theo, do you know how hard it was to steal that? Since it's so easy for you, you can just effortlessly steal another one. He tells me in a matter of fact tone. Fine. I huff. Now set aside the bow, he commands. I glare at him, unenthusiasm, noticing my still state. He warns, Alexandria. I keep my eyes trained on him and notice his eyes turns frightening bright grey. Oh hell no. I drop my bow and quiver to the ground faster than a speeding bullet. Then, I pull my hood over my head, going back to my lone state. Theo turns to his friends. I hope all of you know that I am your alpha, and even if I was not alpha, remember, he pauses, asserting dominance. He sends his comrades a cold glare, that I am the lichen. Don't make me punish you. Such disrespect is unacceptable. I hope you all start learning how to respect each other. God, you guys are acting more like a rogue than she even is. They nod and bow their heads in submission. Yes, Alpha. He lifts Giovanni's chin with his finger, who remains silent. His expression, however, indicated his rage. You're my gamma. Am I right, Gio? Hesitating to reply, he slowly says, Yes, Alpha. Then act like one. I almost let out a snort. Same goes for the rest of you. Don't make me regret bestowing you such high positions. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Then, he looks at me, his brows and eyes seemingly softening. A mischievous smile dances on his face, making my heart skip. And like it not, she's coming with us. Giovanni growls, earning an welcoming glare from Theo. Theo surprises me. Something about him distinguished him from the other wolves. He felt different. It wasn't because he was my mate, nor the fact that he was an alpha or even the fact he is the lichen, which is a title given to the most powerful and recognized living wolf. It was the cunningness that he held in his visage. It was the same mischievous smile and that same twinkle in his eyes like he held as if he found something interesting. He felt different because in some ways, he reminded me of me, full of secrets and tricks hidden behind one deceitful smile. Yet, he was unfathomable. I have always been an observant person and I was always able to unravel secrets they hid so preciously in a snap of my finger. To my demise, Theo was so much more complex, way more calculating. This vexed me. The fact that I was getting myself into something I might regret scared me. Usually, I had something to expect, allowing me to brace whatever was coming in the near future. He was like a puzzle I couldn't solve. I wondered what kind of evil tricks he had already planned in his mind. I stare into his eyes, searching for answers. He sends me a smirk. Shall we depart? His eyes bore deeply into mine. Before we try to uncover something we shouldn't have. I look down and pull on my hood. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. It starts out fun. That was the trouble in trouble. Chapter 4. I tremble as I look down to my hands, the dark red blood painting my fair skin. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I swear. My eyes flutter open, I release a shaky breath, getting more and more used to being woken up by such horrific images. You're awake. I hear Theo's sultry voice tell me. Just in time. We've reached the pack house. Oh, I reply and unintentionally, letting out a dry laugh. I clear my throat and recompose myself, hoping that it didn't sound as bitter as I could make out. He pulls to a stop and eyes me. I question him. Is something wrong? He questions me dubiously, concern lacing his voice. No, just a meaningless dream. I ramble. That's not it. However, in less than a fraction of a second, he goes back to an impassive state. I release a breath I didn't know I've been holding. We both exit the car and I follow Theo. Apparently, the others had arrived way earlier. And by others, I'm talking about my for-oh-so-loving friends. Theo had to drive me separately because they refused to be in the same space as me. As I've been saying, they clearly liked me. I pat my head to make sure I still had my hood on. My eyes widen, I try to hold in a gasp when I behold the majestic structure. Before me was a stunning Mediterranean-style mansion. Mansion was a small word for what I was seeing with my very own eyes. This was some Beauty and the Beast castle type of shit. The darkness made it even more glamorous as bright yellow lights from inside the house shone through the windows. In front of the manor was a large garden, and in the middle of it was a lovely marble fountain. I couldn't help but think of pushing Celestina into it. Something about her made me dislike her the most out of the four. Her good girl appearance pissed me off. She looked too angelic and felt too distrustful for my liking. Theo's voice distracts me from my thoughts as he draws out with a chuckle. Someone's enjoying this. My heart warms up when my eyes land on his face, his chest up and his expression full of pride. I grin and say, just thinking about how much money I'll be making after stealing all the goods and escaping. His lips curl into a smirk, a smug look on his face. What a great time I'll be having chasing and catching you. Love, try me. I don't think that'll end up too well. He adds before peering at me. Let's make our way inside, shall we? As a response, I simply nod. He unlocks and opens the giant doors and leads me inside. Oh my God, how much money would I be earning? Hell, I'll be earning millions in less than a second. I'm debating whether I should be concerned about your expression or not. Theo comments, I promise I could see dollar signs in your eyes. I'm glad you know me so well already. Theo, he guides me through the hallways and gives me a mini tour for about half an hour. Chandeliers, the enthusiasm, lamps, and decorations sparkled. Sparkle why? Sparkle why? I resisted the urge to reach for them. The floors were so clean to the point it shined, and I could see my reflection on them. The mansion's interior, I realized, was a classic gold and white. Not too bad. I gaped without shame. I took notice of the gold vase on one of the tables, calling my name and pulling me in. I make a quick mental note to myself. It continues like that, me breaking my neck and jaw while I observed the place high and low in shock. Then, too abruptly, Theo halts to a stop. I react to slowly and crash into his back. A wave of pleasure runs through me as tingles arise on my skin simultaneously. My dad, I moan. He crushes to my cheeks. He laughs, noticing my dilemma. You're a clumsy one. I lift a brow and huff out. Not my fault you stopped so abruptly. Why'd you stop anyways? Everyone's gone to rest. I figured out we should too. He crushed into my cheeks once again as my mind travels to the wrong direction. Fortunately, blushing was not my forte unlike other people. The same signature smirk enters his lips. He reaches for a doorknob and pushes the door open. Now, you're mistaken. To my agent extraordinaire, Nylan Nilban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Don't worry, I won't rush you. You have your room. He nods his head to the right, where another door was lodged, and I have mine. Oh, I reply shortly and rub the back of my neck. I'm open to anything. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. He adds with a wink. No thank you. I lie as I quickly slip into the bedroom and slam the door shut. A few seconds later, I hear his bedroom door close. I release a sigh, my brain finally recognizing how tired I was. I run and jump to the bed, taking in its comfort. This was heaven. I duck under the covers and hug the pillow, closing my eyes in an attempt to sleep. It was pointless. I couldn't sleep despite my weariness. It continued like that for an hour, me shutting my eyes close, opening them, then staring at the ceiling. The dress was too uncomfortable to sleep in. I considered just stripping completely, but even to me, that felt bare and uncomfortable. Fuck this, I whispered to myself. I throw the covers off of me, and sooner than I realize, I was staring into the door of Theo's bedroom. I quickly knock 3 times and twist the door open, not giving a single shit. I was tired and I wanted to return to the relief the bed gave me. My eyes dart all over the room, searching for Theo. There on the bed was Theo, shirtless. Bed sheets cover his lower body. My eyes shamelessly travel up and down his body. I count the ABS on his torso. 1, 2. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. 7. Ego God. I sure hope I wasn't drooling. I raised my eyes to his face. His eyes drilling into mine. I'll take it you're enjoying what you're seeing. I stutter like an idiot. No, I'm not. I'm just thinking of how much cash I'd be making if I sold you at an auction. Oh, really? He raises his glasses with a finger. I groan to myself. Also digging the boyfriend look. Do you need anything, or are you thinking about the other option I gave you? I let out a fake laugh. Would you do me a favor and give me clothes I could sleep in? The dress is rather uncomfortable. Anything for you. Princess. Closet to your left. Grab whatever you want. If you want. The bathroom door's the door nearest to you. He pauses and smirks. Unless you want to change right in front of me. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nolban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I'm fine. I open the closet, grab a random shirt, and rush to the bathroom. I put on a large black tee, glad that I wore tennis shorts underneath the dress. I throw the satin dress into the trash, knowing I wasn't gonna wear it again. I exit the bathroom and yawn. The exhaustion hit me harder this time and my eyes were struggling to stay open. Thank you. I tell him as I groggily find my way to the door. Good night, Alexandria. He responds, seeming amused. Good night, Theo, I mutter. Then, I scramble out of his room, hoping that I would not lose this tiredness before I could even reach the bed. I wanted a taste of some good sleep I haven't had in a while. When I reach the room, I jump to the bed and situate myself under the blankets. I close my eyes and fall into a deep, relaxing slumber. Darkness takes over me. Chapter 5. I wake up, feeling more at ease than ever. Now that my brain was working, I noticed the splash of black and white that occupied the room. Hints of dark red aspect the large space. I grinned, enjoying the elegant and lavish interior. I unwrap myself from the blankets I have cocooned myself in and jump off the bed, reminding myself to steal one for myself if I had the time to do so. I give myself a quick stretch to shake off the grogginess. A lopsided smile tugs on my lips and energy thrums within me. Today was one of my good mornings. No matter how much I hated the process of waking up in the morning, I loved mornings. I doted the idea of being able to accomplish something. Nighttime always settled with me feeling regret and failure, the lack of accomplishment eating me away. Mornings gave me the chance to fulfill something. I shamelessly open the door of Theo's empty room and grab a black hoodie from his closet. Then, I exit the room, inhaling my mate's intoxicating scent. His scent manages to drive me crazy, but it also made me feel serene. This could be those therapy lotions from Bath & Body Works. I searched for any signs of werewolf presence and received none. Great. It was time to steal. I reach out my hand to grab a fully gold carousel music box on the table, but retract them quickly when footsteps reaches my senses. I face the suspect and forge an angel-like smile on my face. Or so I thought. I'm gonna choose to ignore what you just tried to do, so you owe me one. The blondie from last night mutters. What was his name? B.O. Miller. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nolban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Emily. Emilio. I suggest you take back those last words. Don't want a dislocated bone now, do we? Great. We've got two wicked people under one roof. Werewolf kind is officially over. The moon goddess really let the demons loose. He loudly says under his breath with the intention of letting me hear. Hell's been long empty. Guess where they went? Here apparently. Youngly. Emilio runs his hand through his soft, shiny hair. Everyone's out training. If you're wondering, I nod and keep my hands clasped behind my back. I was itching to steal and I did my best to hold myself back. Follow me and try to not steal anything, he says as he eyes me with his blue orbs. Aye, Captain. For the rest of the journey, I follow in silence. My social battery was already dying and the day has barely even started. Great. I used the silence as an opportunity to observe. I noticed Emilio take larger and faster strides as seconds passed by, eager to end the awkward atmosphere that clouded the both of us. He refused to look back where I was, as if scared that I'd catch him staring. Still, when I moved to his side as we paced down the stairs, his eyes wandered to me, inspecting me. I've caught someone's interest. Soon, Emilio leads me outside the house. The brightness of the sun hit me like a motherfucking train. Immediately, I raise the hood to cover my hair and I use my free hand to block the shining orb from my sensitive eyes. Finally, there's training grounds inside and outside the residence, for the majority of the time. However, we train outside mostly under Theo's watch. He claims that he fancies seeing us suffer under the sun's heat. I huff. I hear the faint sound of Theo's voice and pick up my pace unintentionally. Stupid mate Bond. Sooner than later, we finally reach the training grounds. Emilio halts before looking at me. I'll take it you won't be needing me anymore. I mutter a short statement of gratitude as he walks away from me. I couldn't help but think that if it wasn't for him, my pockets could have been full to the point it drops to the floor. My eyes wander over the clearing filled with sweaty, drained werewolves. They were divided into 3 groups. I notice. The first one was a group of children and teens. They appeared as supervised by my beautiful friend, Scarlet. Her hair was again bunched up in a ponytail. She led the younglings as they ran numerous laps. The second group was ran by the twin, Celestina. They consisted of women mostly. Yes, Gamma. A woman says to her loud enough for me to hear. Cool deal. Celestine nods to her, though my eyes gaze over shirtless men and women wearing mostly sports bras and leggings. Most of them performed their tasks without a single sweat while others were tied to the brim. Now, where's Theo? I squint my eyes, trying to find his gigantic figure. Furthest from me and everyone else was another group and a tall, muscular giant, which was unmistakably Theo. Eyes follow me as I walk past them and I march towards Theo. The group was consisted of men and few women. The closer I got, it was noticeable that this group were the strongest of the pack, their top warriors. It was clear they had more muscle, more stamina, and more skill. I could easily determine that they had tougher and stricter training. Theo's relaxing scent tinted my senses, and by the looks of it, mine reaches him too. Good morning, I chirped happily for my liking. It appears that my dear Alexandria is a morning person. I frown and reply, say good morning back. He lifts a brow, amused. Great morning. I thank him to show my satisfaction. I couldn't help but let my eyes travel over Theo's shirtless body in a blatant manner for the millionth time. What a blessing. Truly, he was a work of art. He also sported grey sweatpants, and sweatpants were the #1 way to my heart. Something about them just makes any guy 10x more attractive. Okay, maybe not all guys. He crosses his arms, staring at me. I didn't miss the detail as his muscles flexed either. Now show me your back, baby. I clear my throat and meet his scrutinizing gaze. It remained set on me for a couple of seconds when he suddenly beams at me as if an idea sparked in his mind. What the fuck? I see you've got your workout clothes on. My love. He tells me, his eyes twinkle with mischief. Care to join us? Oh no. His men stopped their movements to look at us, baffled that a stranger was joining a group of strong warriors like them. I snap my head at them with an icy glare. Actions. Theo, I believe I'm still a tad bit exhausted and emotionally drained from last night's incidents. I fake a laugh. Now that I also think about it, I'm more of a night person. I better go back and rest. You know what they say, morning workouts will keep you active for the rest of the day. He adds, mirroring the fake smile I plastered on my face. Good morning, sunshine. It's time to train. On a second thought, I actually feel really active. I don't think I'll be needing this training. Good. Now that you're active, I assure you training will be easy work. I drop my smile and give him a resolute no. To my absolute luck, a rumble emits from my stomach. It wasn't until now that I noticed how hungry I actually was. Oh my fucking god. This is embarrassing. I'll have my people prepare you a meal if you agree to train with me. I'm the one supervising, so I'll make sure you get special treatment. He adds, using my hunger to his advantage. I think then reply, deal. A home-cooked meal was something I definitely yearned for. Only if you cook for me. I moan. Anything for you. He answers with an enlivened expression. He turns his body away from me and towards his worn-out pack members. His cloudy orbs brighten as if the notion of beating me up to the pulp excited him. His men immediately ceased their actions and directed their forms towards Theo, bowing ever so slightly. As you've all noticed, a new member, his eyes move to me, has joined the pack. She is requested to join us in our training. You all know the drill, and I remind that you must all be respectful. If I hear anything discourteous in any way or form, you know what happens. Requested my ass. Yes, Alpha. They respond. They wait for his instruction, their feet planted to the ground. Proceed to your partners, Theo says as he grins at me. Oh fuck no. This was not the special treatment I asked for. Chapter 6 I lost. And lost. Again and again. You're weak, Theo tells me nonchalantly. I huff and bring myself up. Geez. It doesn't hurt to be nicer. You know. The truth hurts. Alexandria, wow. I really appreciate the effort. I mock. He returns to a fighting stance, signaling that he was ready to combat once again. I was tired. Beyond tired. This man's punches and kicks hurt like a bitch. He also refused to spare me any mercy for my very, very special status. If I may, the frustration from getting defeated over and over also strikes a nerve in me. My competitive side was growing tired of having to lose over and over again. I swing my hands up dramatically. I give up. Theo raises a brow. I glare at him. Didn't you hear me? I said I'm done. Fine. No, you're not. He tells me firmly. Too bad. I sneer and start walking away. CZ I never asked. I don't care. You're coming back here and that's final. I don't like one-on-one combat. I despise it. It's so fucking boring and difficult. Theo raises a brow, an irritating yet charming smirk on his face. Oh yeah. Then if you must, inform me what fun is to you. Stealth. Assassination. Killing someone from far away. I find pleasure seeing a pack of wolves search for me frantically. I glanced at Theo, expecting a disgusted expression. He listened to me with curiosity. His growing interest that never seems to stop made me want to pull my hair out. Imagine being one of those wolves expecting to be home by the next 2 days only to end up 6 feet under with little legroom. How enjoyable, he says sarcastically. Your presence and choice of words pleases me. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Noble. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Glad to know I'm able to please you. I blurt out. That sounded way cleaner in my mind. Okay. Maybe not, and that we'll be seeing about that. Won't we? He says to me. An amused smile tugs on the corners of his lips. I look down, attempting to cover my non-existent blush. In response, Theo chuckles. I catch a glimpse of Theo walking towards me, and before it, his warm hands trace my face delicately. He lifts my chin up with a finger. Grey lips lock with my dark brown ones. I shudder unintentionally, the sparks erupting in my skin. For less than a second, I thought I saw a pained and wanting gaze. His eyes flinches ever so slightly that it was barely noticeable. My lips form into a frown immediately. Before I could say anything, let's go and eat now. Shall we? He asks me with an unsettling smile. Follow me. I'll make you dinner. His cooking was horrible. I almost puked at the first bite, and Theo's amused expression didn't help a single bit. That, I muster up the deadliest glare I could, was disgusting. I wasn't the one who asked for a home-cooked meal. Was I? You could have told me. I say frantically. He rolls his eyes. You never asked. I cross my arms and groan dramatically, receiving a scowl from Theo. Let's play 20 questions. He then adds happily, as if he just thought of the most wonderful idea. His scowl was long gone and the mischievous twinkle in his eyes returned. Childish. Whatever, he mumbles before continuing, disregarding my lack of interest. Why can't we drink wine or something? Why just making sure we're legal? He says with a wink. Not gonna lie, that was kinda hot. Too bad? I'd do it better. I look down, focusing on the table as if it was $1,000. It probably was. 21, I say under my breath. Great. I'm 23. You're old. I joke as I scrunch up my nose. Why does my dear mate prefer younger guys? He stares at me with doe-like eyes as he leans on the palm of his hand. So cute. My breathing hitches. I try to ignore how ravishing he looked in this angle. My eyes travel unintentionally to his luscious lips and I quickly look away, hoping that he didn't spot that. His lips curl into a smile. He did notice. Flustered, I clear my throat. As a matter of fact, yes. Yes, I do. They are so much more tender-hearted. I lie. He growls slowly. At least I can tell the difference between you and your. Whatever, I say with a roll of my eyes and moved on to a new topic. Favorite color? Mine's blue and red. Black and red. Theo pauses, trying to think of a question. His eyes brightens with curiosity once again. Weapon of preference. Now I like how this is going. Strength was something I extremely lacked in, but my agility and precision made up for it. I was destined to be a thief right when I was born out of my mother's womb. I clapped my hands, unable to control my excitement. Daggers and bows. Anything that requires long-distance precision. I wish I had a gun, but the council banned them. The council has forbidden the use of guns in Werewolf land, fearing that more developed packs would gain an advantage and less developed packs. But wasn't that the point? Theo lifts a brow and thinks before replying. Interesting. Tell me more. Do you know how many people report me for hacking whenever I play games? Like it's not my fault I'm decent and you're not. I tell him. Exasperated by the memory, he releases a soft, precious laugh. It was a melody I suddenly wished I could listen to every day. Tell me more. This wasn't a game of 20 questions anymore. This was 73 questions with Alexandria Catalina. People would cyberbully me. I received so much negativity for being too good-o. And they'd accuse me of having auto. A mom when they can obviously tell how much faster I get kills. Feigning a frown, his melodic laugh fills the room once again. You seem to have a talent in riling up people whenever you go. As you can see, you haven't told me your weapon of preference. Theo. Tu m'as agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilban. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Drumming his fingers on the table, he waits a long second before he looks at me with yet another smirk on his face. I don't know. I don't really need them. He informs me arrogantly and I roll my eyes. Fighting in wolf form, however, thrills me more than anything. Tell me about it. I like power. I'm greedy. Alexandria. And our wolf forms are much more stronger and uncontrollable than our human forms. He stops in his words. I like the thrill and the energy that runs through us when we shift. Don't you appreciate it too? I gulp almost visibly before responding. About THA. All of a sudden, Theo's attention drives away from me. The presence of his smile was now absent. His brows were furrowed and his lips were slightly parted. His eyes snap to mine once again. We have company, he mouths. As if on cue. Loud, boisterous voices fill the room. Fuck, I must really hate people. Disappointed that my time with Theo had already ended, he gets up from the chair and moves towards me. Before I knew it, I could feel his breath on my neck. I covers up my spine and I hold myself back from showing it. It's lunchtime, he whispers to my ear before sauntering to the table rested on top of a higher level. This man will be the death of me. Shortly, a mass of werewolves fill the vast space and take their seat. The last to take their places was Theo's friends. I didn't miss the awful glare they presented me with when they entered the room. I cross my arms and scowl back at them to show my loathing. As if mocking me, Scarlett keeps eye contact with me with her chin high up in the air as she walks to the table where Theo was seated, the table meant for those with high positions. Leadership. She was ridiculing me, emphasizing the empty seat beside Theo, where I was supposed to be, the Luna's seat. I ignore the sly take in the very bottom of my heart and bite back a growl. I really didn't know where I was going with this. I was just swimming along the tide. The 4 pairs of eyes boring into me didn't help at all. I release a sigh of relief as a servant places a plate full of food in front of me. I didn't know what it was, but it looked delicious. I pick up the fork, ready to eat. Instantaneously, the doors of the dining room burst open, disrupting my peaceful meal. A man with shoulder-length wavy hair, tanned skin, and sharp glare enters the room. Why is everyone in this pecs? Oh God, I'm gorgeous. Next to him was a girl with a short bob and pretty almond eyes. Her almond eyes were fierce dark brown and her lips were full. Welcome, Beta Felix and Lady Talia. A wolf greets. The pair stroll towards the table. I eyed them as they moved past me. Lady Talia radiated power, but less than the rest of them. Celestina is female gamma, meaning Giovanni is Theo's gamma. That leaves Emilio and Scarlett with the delta position. The only position still unnamed was warrior. Lady Talia was most likely the head warrior. Interesting. I say under my breath before taking a bite of the lava cake. I don't follow the dessert is the last meal rule. Fuck that. My body. My rules. Out of instinct. I pull on my hood to ensure it was still there. I always felt there without one. Thankfully, no one else noticed me and I was excited to eat the rest of my meal in silence. I remained quiet while the room erupted in small chatters. Glad that I didn't have to use my voice. I savored the delicious food in front of me. Theo's cooking had left me traumatized. It felt relaxing for a while, a feeling I really couldn't afford to have. I've been running and escaping my whole life, meaning that relaxation was a luxury. I enjoy the seclusion for a short time. Keyword, short time. That was until rude, unfamiliar voice disrupts my newfound peace. I raise my head searching for the voice. In a flash, everyone turns their heads towards me, finally acknowledging a new presence. Is this bitch talking to me? My eyes scan over the now peaked-up werewolves and travel to Theo and his friends, who all sported vexatious expressions. Yes, I'm talking to you, a woman's voice firmly states. I look up to the speaker, only to land on Talia's grim countenance. I narrow my eyes at her. To my audiobook extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing enthusiasm. I really do seem to irritate people wherever I go.